how much this little device, they don't count those. All or nothing, I'm gonna be healthy. 96. 99 grams of this, the food for today looked like. Well, good morning, everyone. Today is Monday morning, so we're getting the start of a new week. Like we said on Friday and yesterday, today we're going to do our workout together. So I hope that you're ready and, you know, your mindset is there to do this. Mine, sort of. I think the fact that we're doing this together is actually helping me a little bit be less opposed to the idea, I guess. But before we get started, I figured that we can do some of the measurements together. This week's going to be a little bit interesting because there's a twist coming up towards the weekend. But we'll talk about it a little later. So let's do some of these measurements together. And I figure the first thing that we need to do is get on the scale. So we are more than a month in. We're almost 40 days in, I think. And so I'm curious just to see, share with you guys the ups and downs of daily weigh-in. And, we've talked about it with you guys, throughout all this time, weighing in every day. It's probably not even a good idea. It's not necessary. We're looking at trends over a long time. But if you're a nerd like me and you like data and you want to see the ups and downs and basically try to correlate what you're eating and, all of those things to how your weight is fluctuating, then, you're welcome to do it with me. So the first thing that we need to do is just weigh. I've been weighing myself without my shorts, just boxers and t-shirt. So that's what we're going to do. And let's see. Yesterday, our weight was 309.5. Now, when we started, almost 40 days ago, we were at 338.5. So this is 29 pounds exactly, basically. So let's see where we are today. I mean, we could be up, we could be down. At this point, we don't know anything. At this point, we're starting the zigzaggy sort of fluctuation. So let's see where we go from here. All right. $309.1. 309.1, down 0.4 pounds. Let's see. Visceral fat is down from 10.9 when we started to 9.9. So that's pretty good. Vascular age normal. Yeah, pretty good. All right. I try to keep quiet because basically this scale has the ability to measure your vascular health and stuff, but it has or at least it has had a hard time reading it in the past. So basically what I recommend is weigh yourself, and the moment that you have, you get your reading for your actual weight, then try to stabilize yourself and try to stay as still as possible and don't talk in order to get the reading. But it got it today, which is good. So yeah, down another little bit, 0.4 pounds. I feel like I was going to say something else about that, but I really can't remember anymore. Oh, I got it. Somebody was saying the other day that, if I got rid of my hair, this, I would probably lose a bunch of weight. And we're going to do it. We're not going to do it today, but at some point this week, I'll try to remember, because I devised a method for weighing myself without the weight of the hair. And I don't know. It's interesting. Let's see. Let's take some, not actual bets, but let's see it in the comments. How much do you think the moment I counteract the weight from the hair, how many pounds I will lose? How much does all of this weigh? Take a good look. Take a good look at all this hair. And how much does this weight? I mean, this is like a fucking child right here. It's like my niece, you know? It probably weighs more than her. So yeah, how much does this all weight? And we'll see. We'll see who gets the closest. All right, so weighing in is done. Let's go and take a lumen measurement, and then we'll get working out. Okay, well, now let's take our lumen measurement. And let me just talk about this for a moment before we get started. I tend to be a person who naturally is drawn to the extremes of things. And so, you know, like in terms of dieting and weight loss and health and all that, I'm the kind of person who naturally wants to go from I haven't gotten off the couch for 3 weeks to like, I want to do P90X every day, you know, or like, you know, I haven't been walking more than like 500 steps a day to like, well, I want to run a marathon tomorrow. You know, I'm obviously exaggerating for dramatic purpose, but you get the point. I am naturally drawn to the extremes, and you know, probably some of you are as well, where we always bite off more than we can chew. And so when it came to dieting and health and improving health and your eating habits and all that stuff, it's always been difficult for me to keep a more leveled approach. And so whenever, you know, I started a new eating habit, or I was trying to do a diet or something, there was always sort of like an instinct to push it further, and the second guessing that would always come with it. Am I doing this well enough? You know, am I actually inadvertently cheating myself, or you know, messing this up somehow? And also feeling like, in order to do this right and have the correct amount of weight loss or whatever, I have to be even more extreme, to the point where, you know, like eating anything felt like, is this right? Is this allowed? Like, should I be doing this? You know? And then perhaps because I was doing something unhealthy, not seeing it reflected in some of the more limited measurements that I was taking, and then feel like, well, I'm at a loss. You know, I thought this is what I needed to do. And so going about it that way has always been very difficult for me because of that second guessing, because I don't know what feels right. Does this actually feel right? I've always had a very difficult time with subjectivity. You know, I'm a numbers person. Like, I want hard facts. I want hard data. I want whole numbers. You know, even when I'm doing random shit, like, I don't like random numbers. I like, you know, certain, you know, something that it's divisible by 5 or 1, or, you know, like, it's just how my brain works. You know, everybody's different. That's just how my brain works. And so the idea of doing something like that was always difficult, because and what I mean by doing something like that is like doing a new diet or a new exercise program or anything like that, was difficult because I would always be too optimistic in how I would feel about whatever it is that I was doing when I was actually doing it. During the preparation, I felt invincible, like I could take on the world, and you know, I'll be able to handle all of these things. And then when I was in the thick of it, things would just kind of fall apart. And so you know, it's no surprise to some of you guys, and not, I don't want to say surprise, but it's not news to a lot of you guys, that I love gadgets and I love measurements and being able to measure things. And it comes with its own, you know, it's a double-edged sword. It comes with its own downside. But I love being able to measure something and see and understand it and see it for what it is. And that's something that's very difficult with something as complex and subjective as metabolism and weight and, you know, health in general. And so over the last few years, I have sort of started to think in terms of how can I improve that aspect that I've always struggled with. And one of the things that has helped me a lot is this little device, Lumen. Now, just a quick disclaimer, I'm not sponsored by Lumen. I paid for this. I pay for their subscription. In fact, Lumen, if you're watching, hook me up, yo, because I'm, but that's not the point. The point is that this is something that I use. When I read about it, I don't even remember how I came across it, but when I came across it, I thought, fuck, this is great for me because it's going to take some of the guesswork out of it, at least point me in the right direction. And so I went ahead and got it. I've been using it on and off for, I would say, like over a year now, probably over a year now, but it has been on and off. I'm not very consistent with it, as you know, you guys, it happens to you too. We start and stop. And this whole thing that we're doing, you and me here, right here, is what feels like one last ditch effort to start for the last time. And that's what we're doing. And we're committed to it. And Lumen is helping me. So what does this do? This basically is this little device. And according to their data, I haven't read it in a while, but we can dive in together later at some point. But basically, according to their clinical data, it's supposed to be a reliable way to measure your metabolism. And they do that by measuring CO2 concentration in your breath. How does that work? I have no idea. I didn't know that that's how you measured metabolism. But basically, depending on how much CO2, carbon dioxide, is in your breath, the device, paired with their app and their algorithm, can see if you're burning carbs or if you're burning fat. And basically, carbs and fat are the two fuel sources that our body uses. And so if we're consuming an excess of carbs, then it's using whatever it can for energy and then storing the rest as fat, right? And that's how we start gaining weight. And then whenever it doesn't have enough, enough fuel to, or enough, combustible to fuel your energy, then it draws from those reserves to give you more energy and keep your body going, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. I'm not an expert in any of this stuff, and so you'll forgive me if my explanation wasn't very clear. I'll work on that for the future. But basically, based on what time of day it is and why you've been eating and stuff, you take readings, you take measurements with this thing, and it helps paint a picture of how your metabolism is doing. And they talk a lot about something called metabolic flexibility, which is your ability to, whenever you consume any carbs, carbs are supposed to be a quick source of fuel. So as soon as you consume them, your body can use them right away and then get back to burning fat. And that's especially important if we're trying to lose weight, because we don't want to deprive ourselves of carbs because they're still important, but we want to use those carbs as quickly as possible, not store them, and then get back to burning the reserves of fat that we have, right? And so with Lumen, you basically, the most important measurement that you take is in the morning, because when you wake up, you've been sleeping, obviously, but you've been at rest, or physical rest. Your body is doing a whole bunch of shit, to keep it going. Your blood is still moving, heart's still pumping. There's a whole bunch of activity that's happening in your body, and it does require energy. And so we want, when we are at rest, when we're not moving around, when we're not exercising, we want our body to be using those fat reserves to power itself, right? And so by taking these Lumen measurements, we can figure out what it is that we need to eat in order to properly fuel our bodies and give it the right energy. So every morning, you're supposed to start with one measurement, and that measurement is going to tell you what your body is burning. I guess if you're score is too high, which means that you're burning carbs, especially in the morning, that shouldn't be the case. Because since you've been at rest for a long time, you want to be burning fat. And if you're not burning fat, it means that your body is still burning carbs, which means that you probably consumed too many the day before, too many grams of carbs, too much carb, I don't even know how to say it. And so the idea is that based on that measurement, it gives you a plan for the day. And it tells you you should be eating this many grams of carbs and proteins and fats. And something interesting is that you can either choose to be like really specific with, down to the gram, how many grams should be eating of each, or portions, like these many portions. And they have a way to like eyeball the portions, which I think is great. And that is, again, providing enough flexibility so that if you're like me and you're anal about numbers and that kind of stuff, you can really get very specific. But if that doesn't resonate with you and it stresses you out, then, estimating also works. So that's a plus that I've seen with this. Of course, I didn't know that they had the grams. I started out with just the portions, and they never felt like exact enough for me. And so when I discovered that, oh, fuck, I can switch it to grams, it's like a whole new world opened up because I could get really specific. So we take a measurement in the morning, and then that measurement tells us what we should be eating. And that has helped me tremendously because it's given me the permission, I guess, that my head needed to eat carbs, enjoy some things, that normally would have been like extremely off limits before. And, I'm not talking about candy or anything like that because I actually am not that big of a candy person, but like something like rice. Yeah, there will be plenty of people who'll be like, oh, rice is the devil, and you're always going to find that. But I don't know, humans have been eating rice for maybe not hundreds of thousands, but thousands of years, And so eating rice shouldn't feel like, the devil. I don't even know how to say it, but like you're committing a sin. We go with the Catholic with the Catholic education slipping in. It shouldn't feel like something bad. And so seeing it in their guidance, like, I can't eat this. I can eat some berries. I can eat some of these things that before, when I was being so extreme as to feel like I can't have like one spoonful of rice because then that's it. You've ruined it. You completely ruined your diet and you might as well go off the deep end. Let's fucking go to McDonald's, It has really helped me be able to incorporate some of these foods that keep me going in the long term. And that, had I done this before, it might have gotten me to a better place than this all or nothing thing that I've been doing for so long. So that is what Lumen is and what it's doing for me. Having said that, as always, I am cautiously optimistic for all of these technologies. I'm sure it's not perfect. There are things that I wish were different or better. There are some times when I doubt the measurements, obviously. This always happens. But it's also a way of contributing, for me, I see it as a way of contributing to the advancement of these technologies that might eventually help us, or might help us do this in the future in a much more efficient, easier way. So I am all for that. And this is why I'm using it. I choose to continue to pay for it. It's not cheap. Because I know that this was like a few $100s, like maybe $200-$300 when I bought it. I waited for a Black Friday. I usually wait, like all of these gadgets and shit, I usually just wait for Black Friday to get a better deal. But there is, after the initial purchase, I think it was like maybe $300, and it came with like 12 or 18 months, something like that, of like their subscription. And then after that, you have to keep the subscription. And I think it's in like the $20 range, something like that. So it's not cheap, and it's definitely not for everyone. But it helps me. and I wanted to present that and why it helps me. And so that is the case. So since we usually start the mornings with a lumen measurement, let's take our morning measurement and see what it says. So let me actually record my screen here so you guys can see it. And this is what it looks like. It says, let's check in. So basically in the morning when you first start, you open the app and this is the first thing that you're presented with. So we're gonna check in on our body this morning. So I have to turn on the lumen. We take, and it shows up there. And I hit, I'm ready. And it'll walk us through. Okay, so let's see what we got. All right, so today we got a 2. Their measurements go from 1 to 5, and it says you're burning mostly fat. And we got 65% fat, 35% carbs. And I can go to explain my results. Usually because we're in fat burn, it says your level explained. Eating low carb yesterday makes fat burn more likely. Low carb eating empties your glycogen stores, so when you do eat carbs, you use them quickly and return to fat burn mode. That's because I woke up in fat burning mode. If I was in one of the higher ones, then it'll start asking me some questions, looking at what I logged for food yesterday and kind of, try to figure out, again, not a perfect system, but try to figure out like what might be causing. And if you did everything perfectly and still got a higher reading, it usually gives a, metabolism is a complex thing, and don't worry about the odd, one-off result. So the same with everything. A measured, balanced approach to this mentally is best. But then as we go, it asks this, what time did you stop eating yesterday? 8 to 10, I had a later meal. And so we start looking at our week, and when we go next, our metabolism has one main job, to convert food and drink into energy. They're always like throwing these little tidbits at you and stuff. So today, it's giving me, what you can see here, a medium carb day. And it's giving me 195 grams of carbs, 154 grams of protein, and 99 grams of fat. And if I go to show the full plan, it'll tell me what my recommended carbs are for each meal. So they basically want you to have 4 meals throughout the day: breakfast, lunch, snacks, and dinner. And then for breakfast, for the 75 grams of carbs that I should have with breakfast, it's giving me all these options, right? And so, their ideas, I have never once followed any of this, but, it's giving me ideas. Same thing for lunch, same thing for what the snacks should be, same thing for dinner. So I think that's, if you're someone who could benefit from that, they have that. But then based on this, now I know that I can have carbs. In fact, they want me to have carbs. And of course, they want you to have good sources of carbs. So like if we go to it's a medium carb day, and we can see down here, switch to planned portions. That's if you don't want to be specifically with grams in portions, then you can do that. But one carb portion is about 15 grams. And so it says whole grain bread, 1 slice, cooked whole grains, 1/3 cup, apple and orange, 1 fruit, and same thing with protein and fat portions. If we go to see the full guide, they have this little guide on how to measure portion sizes, what each one of those means, just to get an idea, So it's not a whole bagel, it's 1/3 of a bagel. That, where with what rice and quinoa and beans and, all that kind of stuff for carbs. Then same thing for fruit, this much amount. Or when you go into protein, what a portion of protein would be like and what it looks like, And so Same thing with fat. And so the idea is that they're giving you a way to have a measured approach, even if you're not measuring everything specifically, you know? And even if that is the case, you have like some of these recipes that can help you figure out a ballpark figure. Like it could be very helpful in terms of figuring out like, okay, this doesn't add up, because we always tend to overestimate how much we eat or how little we eat. And so it's a good idea to see how what you're thinking something is in terms of nutrition compares to something like this. And so, for example, like, you know, brown rice is carbs, black bean is carbs, but it's also protein. It's contributing to both. And then canned tomatoes, it's a non-starchy veggie. They don't count those towards your complete carb allowance for the day. Same thing with the onion and the avocado. Then cashew butter is fat. Lemon juice is carbs. So, you know, even though onion, avocados, and tomatoes are non-starchy veggies that don't contribute to, you know, your day's carb allowance, lemon juice is, apparently. And so these are things that can give you an idea, you know, and just having a little more awareness of what we're eating and the nutritional value that comes with it. And to me, that has been where a lot of the value I'm getting out of it comes from. So we're going to leave it at that, because I think that it's time that we stop talking about it and actually stop procrastinating and get to the fucking workout. And I hope that you didn't forget, because we are working out today. It's a little bit later than I wanted to start, but we're going to do it. So let's just get ready. Let's do it. Yeah, let's just fucking do it. All right. I'm going to stop saying let's do it, and we'll actually go do it. Okay? We're going to go do it. We're doing it. Get ready. And 3, 2, 1. All right, let's just do it before we change our minds, because I'm already feeling, like I don't want to do this. Okay. What are you going to do? Do you have all your things? Are you ready? You got all your stuff? You know, are we prepared to do this? I myself will be doing my kettlebell swings. That is basically, we talked about it on Friday, but we can talk a little bit more about it if you want. But that's what I'm going to be doing. I'm using a 50-pound kettlebell. It's a little heavy, but the advantage of this exercise is that you can do this heavy weight and it's still very low impact and stuff. So we're going to do it. It's going to take about 20 minutes. And I have my little guitar picks to keep count of my reps. I'm going to do 10 reps of 10. And this is what we're doing. All right, shut the fuck up and start working out. Let's do this. Actually, I'll move back a little bit. And here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Whew. Okay, and in case you missed Friday's video about why we're doing kettlebells, do a quick recap. Basically, at some point in the last few years, I became aware that kettlebell swings were a good way to basically do like a cardio workout and a strength training workout. And in some studies, it had shown that it was a very efficient way to build muscle with a smaller investment of time and effort. And so for those of us who are not gym inclined, if you will, this seems to be a good way of going about it in terms of being efficient, being effective, and doing this thing that most of us, if you're like me, don't really want to do. So, seems to be that there's obviously a lot of debate as to like how much you should do, but I have settled for, based on my own research and also for the sake of convenience and something that I can actually wrap my head around, do 10 sets of 10, so 100 reps of the kettlebell swings twice a week, Mondays and Fridays. And, that seems to be working for me. So let's do another one. 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. And, it's a low impact exercise for people like me who are bigger and therefore have more stress on our joints and overall on our frame. Is working out large muscle groups. By the way, this is just seltzer water, flavor seltzer water. Cannot do flat water. I have tried many times. I miss my bubbles. I love them so much. I used to drink a lot of soda. Can you tell? Yeah, but that's something interesting that we can talk about. Let me do one more set, and then we can talk about this that just popped into my head. 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30. Well, two things actually popped into my head. One, I was in Indiana recently, and I haven't really spent much time in the Midwest, but they call it pop. Oh, I thought it was so cute. Because they call it pop. I know. Soda pop, but they call it pop. How cute is that? I don't know why it makes me giggle. But I was thinking about this concept when I was, now that we're talking about soda or pop. Thinking about the idea of calories in, calories out. And I have seen a lot of people mention it in the comments, and it's all over the internet. And there are a lot of people who feel very strongly about the concept of it's just calories in, calories out, right? And basically, the concept is right. But when you're giving out that kind of advice, sorry, you do have to be careful, because not everyone is going to take it the way that you mean it. And I feel like the calories in, calories out argument needs an asterisk and a footnote explanation, because it has to be much more than that. Let me do one more rep. Oh, fuck, I didn't even do the... Okay, so we're gonna do, starting with 30s. 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39, 40. The calories in, calories out argument needs an asterisk, because if you have had trouble, like me, in the past with overeating maybe a sugar addiction, a fast food addiction of some sort, it's very easily to see the calories in, calories out argument as giving you more room than you should probably have. So calories in, calories out is absolutely the case, but the quality of those calories absolutely matters. Not a one-off type thing, but over the long term. And the reason I say that it has to be, it needs to have that footnote and explain it is because for some people like me who instinctively try to find the loophole in any kind of eating habit or diet or anything to try to make it as unhealthy and as I don't even know what the word is, but just, make it as outrageous as possible, or like see what else you can put in there. It is very easy to see the calories in, calories out, and I could drink, like a fuck ton of soda or pop for a day and technically still be under my calories, right? The problem is that the nutritional value of those calories is shit. I'll keep going. 41, 42, 43, 44, 45, 46, 47, 48, 49, 50. And so you might end up with or you might start out with the best of intentions. So I'm going to control my calories because I keep seeing it all over the internet that it should be calories in, calories out, and that's the only thing that matters. And the people who are giving that advice might be people who already have better eating habits. And so they're saying, yeah, it's calories in, calories out. So you have your chicken breast and your salad and that you count those calories and those are calories in. But for people like me and a fuck ton of other people, all of us who are obese in the world, that might translate into, well, he did say calories in, calories out. This taco from Taco Bell is only, and you see where that can lead to difficult situations because all of a sudden you were thinking restrictively, like we were talking about a little earlier, in terms of like all or nothing. I'm gonna be healthy and I'm gonna eat a healthy diet and we're gonna do this and that. And then all of a sudden it's like, wait a second, but I can eat McDonald's. I mean, it's still within my allowance. So, and by the way, I've done this before. And the last time I did it, what do? Like you go to McDonald's and yeah, if you're in the US, I don't know exactly how it works everywhere else, but you get a cup and you fill it to the brim with ice and then you pour your soda in, right? And so it has a certain number of calories, whatever. And so when I started doing this, like counting calories in, calories out, and actually being, technically being more mindful of what I was doing, at that moment I realized, well, I can count the calories on this cup without the ice because the machine, at least here in the state of Maryland, has the thing of like how much it is for us, let's say like a 16-ounce cup. But I don't know how much it is with ice. And I see that the cup without ice is still within my caloric allowance. So now that I'm counting calories and being more mindful, I'm actually drinking more soda than I was before when I wasn't even thinking about it. And that is ridiculous. And and then of course there might be some of you saying like, well, of course, but to people like us, that shit is not that clear in the moment. And that's why we're in this position in the first place. At that moment, we're not being ruled by our rational self. We want to fucking hit. All right, let me do another 51, 52, 53, 54, 55, 56, 57, 58, 59, 60. So I know that, or at least I assume that everyone or most people, when they're giving advice on the internet, are well-intentioned. They just might be a little, I don't know what's the word, ignorant about someone else's situation, or they might just incorrectly assume their experience to be what everyone else is basing it on. And every single person is basing their approach to health from their own perspective. And so if you've never been obese, if you've never had any issues with your weight, you can give us all the advice you want on very specific technical things. Working out this way is better for your muscles. Eating a diet this way or whatever. Because those are facts that don't change. But the part that I don't know if someone who's never been in that position can advise on is the mental struggles, the emotional challenges of doing something like this. Because they look different to every single one of us. And it's very, I'm trying to think there are so many things that I have no idea what they are because I've never lived through them. So I might be overlooking things that are very specific to someone's situation. And that very specific thing, though it might seem minor to someone else, is actually extremely important to that person and would be the make it or break it thing in their journey to better health. 61, 62, 63, 64, 65, 66, 67, 68, 69, 70. Ugh. So, just, as a reminder to everyone out there, though your intentions are probably good, and it would be rare for me to think that someone is doing it I think we have gotten past the age of the anonymous internet troll. I don't know. Maybe we haven't, and I just don't go on the internet that often. But maybe we've gotten past that, and everyone who's given advice, they're doing it with a good intention. But just understand that it might not really mean the same thing to you as it does to somebody else. And I'm not saying it just for me, because actually every single one of you has been, more than, nice, inspiring. I'm actually pretty amazed at how very small, very few mean comments I have gotten since we started doing this sort of video series, this video diary. It's been honestly a handful. Most of you guys are so amazing and encouraging and thoughtful and, with all your contributions. But it helps to be more aware. I'm also trying to be more aware with my approach to how I do things, how I talk about things. I just try to be a little more inclusive in general and understand that some of the most important aspects to someone's journey might be something that you can easily overlook and vice versa. And so it's something good to keep in mind, because only when we truly understand each other and give each other space to be who we are and do the things that we're trying to do that we think work best for us, even if they're not, it is important to our journey to figure that out and have the opportunity, have a space and not necessarily a safe space, but just have a space where we can try out these things and fail on purpose to gain that experience and know that we tried it, and now I have that experience and I can move forward, and it feels like the process is mine. I'm figuring it out. And so I thank you guys for giving me that opportunity here, and I encourage everyone to be mindful of that going forward, not just on the internet, but to everyone around you. All right, let's keep going because I'll fucking keep talking. 71, 72, 73, 74, 75, 76, 77, 78, 79, 80. And something that's very interesting is that this used to be so much more difficult. And we're only, what, 5? This is week 6 that I'm doing this. I used to be, fuck. It used to take it out of me so much more than this is now. So we're getting better, we're improving. And I do wish that we didn't have to do this part. You know, like a lot of people talk about how, you know, you go to the gym, you work out and blah, 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 this and that. And at the end of it, you get that rush of endorphins and you feel so good. You know what I'm talking about? Yeah, me neither. I don't get that shit from working out or that kind of physical activity. Actually, that's not true. I don't get it from any of this kind of strength training exercise on purpose. Because there's something that I was thinking about the other day and I just remembered. Let me do one more set and we'll talk about this. 81, 82, 83, 84, 85, 86, 87, 88, 89, 90. And that is, there isn't a lot of exercise that I enjoy. I used to be very sporty in my teen years, and then I just eventually sort of gravitated away from that. Except for one thing, and that is, I fucking love snowboarding. It is my favorite activity in the world in terms of physical fun, I guess, if you will. It's amazing. I love it. And another contributing factor to all of this is that last time I tried to do it, I couldn't do it very well. It was demanding. I had lost a lot of my flexibility in a span of, this was when the pandemic hit. So in the span of 2 years, I didn't go snowboarding, and I put on more weight. I was a lot more sedentary, and then I get there, and it's a significant effort to go skiing or to go snowboarding. Like when I'm in the US, I live on the East Coast, and I usually go snowboarding in Colorado or Utah. Like you have to, that shit is expensive. And so it's a significant effort, a significant financial commitment to go and do it, and you fucking do it because you love it, and then you get there, and I couldn't do it. I mean, I couldn't do it well. I couldn't really enjoy it. I was in pain. I was miserable the whole time. And so all of this is a motivation, or one of the motivators is being able to get back to doing things that actually make me happy, But that wasn't the point. The point is that, and if you are a skier or a snowboarder, or, just an athlete, I guess, in different sports, I do get that feeling after, it's like, think about it, like full day out on the mountain, and you're going, around the mountain in, I don't know, let's say Vail in Colorado, and you're going to the, you're doing trails all over the mountain, and, you're having a full day of fun. And then it's like 4 o'clock, you come down and you're at Village Center and like you're sitting there and you're grabbing a beer, and then you have that, you're tired, your muscles are spent, your energy spent. You've spent a full day out on the mountain exercising and exerting your physical abilities and having fun and the beautiful scenery and all that stuff. And you have that satisfaction, at the end of the day. Maybe that is the feeling that people get with working out. I don't get it with this. I only get it with that. And so maybe, that's the thing for me. But I can't even do it anymore because I can't physically, I am unable to do it because look at this, it's too much to carry around. So I need to use that as motivation as well, I guess. What's your motivation? Last set, guys. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 96, 97, 98, 99, and 100. We did it. We did it. Okay. So that's going to be our motivation. We're going to get back on a fucking snowboard. We're going to do it together. We're going to do it together. Okay. This was our workout. You did it. Good job. You should have done it if you didn't, but that's okay. We're going to do this again on Friday. Today is Monday. We did our Monday workout. This is good. Last guitar pick going back in the tin. And we did it, guys. So now let's figure out what we can have for lunch. Good job, everyone. Okay, let's try to do this quickly because I'm a little behind on the rest of my day. So I wanted to make some chili, so I have been cooking that for the last little bit, and I'm gonna make it for tonight so that I can have it. Interesting that I would choose to do chili this week. Also, I went to by the grocery store yesterday, and I bought some smoked Texas sausage. And again, a little interesting that I would choose to do that this week because I'm actually going to Texas and this weekend. And so, I don't know, maybe it was on my mind. And so I, naturally, didn't even think about it. Just thought, I'm craving some, and I thought I can do that, mostly protein and fat and whatever. But anyway, so the funny thing is that I'm making chili and the chili is not ready, but I need to make some lunch and I need to do it rather quickly because I got about 20 minutes before I have a call. So what I'm going to do is use one of these Texas sausages, and I'm gonna use 3 eggs, a little bit of cheese, and a tortilla that I got yesterday, and sort of make myself a little breakfast burrito. So let me go get that really quick, and before we eat it, we'll look at the numbers and then just keep going. We gotta keep going. Today is Monday. We're doing good, guys. Okay, let's do this real quick. So I didn't end up making like a burrito, but just kind of folded the tortilla into the scrambled eggs. So this has, like I said, 3 eggs, 99 grams of this smoked cheddar sausage, 1 tortilla, and about 50 grams of cheddar cheese. So now this is interesting because it's only 26 grams of carbs, but it's 49 grams of protein and 58 grams of fat. So I'm like 15% of the way with carbs, but I am like 1/3 of the way for protein and like over like almost 2/3 for fat. So I might have overdone it a little bit on fat and not enough carbs, but that's okay. We keep going, we keep pushing, and then we'll see. Yeah, I don't know. I'm in that sort of like frantic mode where I'm just doing because I got 7 minutes to eat before I have to jump on a call. So anyway, good workout today, guys. Thank you so much. I'm gonna eat this and then I'll see you a little bit later for dinner. Okay, and welcome back everyone for dinner. It's been an eventful afternoon, but it's about 7 p.m. and we're gonna have to just have a dinner now. Today's gonna be a little weird. I was just looking at the macros and anyway, super low carb, but super high fat. Interesting. So I told you that I was making the chili earlier. I finished it. It looks delicious. So I'm gonna have this thing that I don't know if it would make a lot of sense from to people who are from outside the DC area, but there's a place called Ben's Chili Bowl in DC that serves this type of sausage called a half smoke, and they do like a hot dog that's with this kind of sausage, and then they put chili on top, and cheddar and mustard and onion, and the whole thing is delicious. So I'm sort of recreating my own version of it, and I'm using this smoked sausage that I told you I got, and use a little bit of cheddar and some mustard, and then the chili. So let me put it all together real quick, and then I'll let you guys know. What am I saying? I'll show you guys, and we'll look at the numbers. Get distracted so easily. All right, see you in a bit. Okay, and it's done. Look at this. Oh, it smells delicious. So let's take a quick look at what this is. So this has the chili that I made that's basically beef, water, and seasoning. But then, so I was doing 200 grams of it. And then I did 99 grams of that smoked sausage and 37 grams of cheddar. So that's what's in here. And that gives us a total of only 7 grams of carbs, 46 of protein, and 69 of fat. Now, I'm also doing the rest of my berries. So I have a nice little berry salad. And these guys are 19 grams of carbs, 3 grams of protein, and no fat. So now this is where it gets interesting because the macros for today are weird. So the whole thing is 1,752 calories. I'm only doing 52 grams of carbs out of 195 that I was supposed to have. And then I'm doing 98 grams of protein out of the 154 I was supposed to have. But I'm doing 127 grams of fat out of the 99 I was supposed to have. So basically I swapped a whole bunch of carbs and some protein for more fat. I feel pretty good right now. And given that we had, that workout and stuff, I don't know. This seems pretty good. Pretty good. So anyway, if it feels like I'm rushing, is because I really am. So I'm going to eat this. I'm going to see how I feel. We're going to take a look at some of the numbers tomorrow, how we're going to be doing with our measurements with Lumen and our weight and everything. But yeah, this is what the food for today looked like. Thank you so much for hanging out with me. Congratulations on completing your workout today. Also, I'm saying it to myself, but good thing that we did it together. And that is it. I will see you guys tomorrow.